Hi guys, welcome everyone. My name is Vera and today I'm going to show you how to paint our wonderful watercolor Cherrylicious painting. So before we start, let's go through all our supplies. First thing you're going to need is a paper pre-sketched with your cherry and ellipse. You can find the downloadable outline in the description of this video. It's a Dropbox link. Just click on it or copy it and paste it into your browser and it will open this image and you can transfer it onto your watercolor paper. Then you're going to need, of course, a watercolor of some kind, whatever you have. This is what I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be showing you guys my colors right here on this paper. If you don't have watercolor at all, by the way, any watercolor will work, whatever watercolor you have. It doesn't have to be as big of a set as what I have. Smaller sets will work just as fine. If you don't have any watercolor, you can use acrylic. Just make sure you really water it down. Water it down to consistency of like dirty water. And of course, you're gonna need water. You're gonna need a paper towel, super important. And you're gonna need a brush. So for this, you only need one brush. You only need a small brush. Usually we recommend using a couple different brushes, large, medium, and small. But for this, you don't need anything other than a small brush, unless you're doing this in a much larger scale than what I'm doing, in which case you're gonna need a couple different size brushes. But if you're doing the same scale as mine, which is, as you can see, a pretty small one, the one brush is just fine. So just one small brush. But again, if you have a large set of brushes, I don't want to discourage you from using them. Use all of them, use whichever brushes you want. Yeah, the more you have, the better, actually. And what colors are we going to be using here? Absolutely any colors of your choice. Really, all the colors that you have or any colors that make you happy. In my case, there's probably not a color that I'm not using. I would say I'm using very little bit of green. There are only a couple spots here, but other than that, every single color you can think of, I'm using it here somewhere. You don't have to use all of those colors. If you prefer, if you have like a color scheme in mind, if you, let's say you personally maybe don't like yellow or you don't like red, you can skip the color or you can stick to a particular color scheme. That's entirely up to you. All right, I'm gonna do one color at a time. So let's start with, let's say yellow. Doesn't really matter. Basically, we just choose one color to start and we stick with it. So let's go with yellow. Any yellow will do. I'm gonna use maybe something like this. So something on the warmer side versus really lemony yellow. Let's go with something that's a little bit warmer. And I'm gonna put that on my palette here. And notice I'm using it quite saturated, not like a super neon color, but it's not pastel either. And with this, I'm gonna go somewhere right here and I'm just gonna add a little chunk of color. So this is how we're gonna build it. We're literally just gonna build it in like a little chunks of color. So I'm gonna add a couple spots with this yellow. I'm gonna try to do them in the same order how I did here, or at least similar to that. Now you can position them at random. It doesn't really have to be positioned exactly the same way. You can position your colors wherever you want, and you will start getting a feel for it very soon. So I think that's good. I'll add a bit right here on the outside, just like a little flick from the line up. I'll do a little flick from the line up here. Sometimes I'm doing those, do you see? To kind of merge this abstract look into a background. All right, now I'm gonna do a couple spots right here. Again, you can choose a lot more spots or a lot less spots of this color. That is entirely up to you how much of it you want to have. And again, I will add a couple flicks down here. See, from the lips down. All right, that's my yellow. Do you want any more yellow? I don't know. Maybe if I decide to add more, I can add more later. Not a big deal. Okay, next color I would like to go to is gonna be pink. So I'm gonna do something fairly light. So let's go with something like this. So do you see I have pink here? It's not a very dark one. This pink, this pink. Do you see? Fairly light pink. So let's do that. Any pink that you have. For me, I only have two. I have this one and this one. And this is a saturated version. If I just add a bit more water, they're going to be a bit lighter. So one of them, doesn't matter again, whichever you have. If none of yours look like they're pink, just grab red, but add not as much water, and you're going to get a great pink. So we're going to try this and see how it goes. I think this should be the right color. And we just, again, oh yeah, that's good. This is even a little bit too dark. I might go a touch lighter. And with this color, we're just gonna add a couple more spots. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna add quite a bit of it, because this color is actually, it's really nice in a way that it is compatible with many colors. So that, let's say you overlap this with the yellow, it turns into orange, so it's compatible color. It's not gonna turn into mud. It's gonna just create another color. You overlap it with blue, it turns into purple. So it's such a nice color in a way that no matter what you overlap over it, it turns into something nice, which is always good. In which case that means we can add a bit more of it because we're not afraid. We can totally overlap stuff over it. All right, let's add a few here. And in certain areas, I go right to my previous color, and in other areas, I'm going to overlap my previous color. So here I can just overlap a little bit. All right, let's add some here too. All right, that's good. Now I'm gonna go with a little bit more saturated pink. So I'm just gonna make a bit, I take a little bit more pigment, a little bit less water, and you see it turns into more saturated version. And I'm gonna do a little bit more with this version. And this painting is literally just doing that. It's building the entire lips, one little chunk at a time. So again, I'm starting at the edge. Generally, we want the edges to be more solid. You see how there's a bit of white in between, or a bit of a lighter colors in here. So we're keeping those for glare. So you want to keep some of the white or some of the lighter colors closer to the middle and build your edge a bit darker. Again, this is just how I'm positioning. You can position yours however you want. All right, that's good. I'm happy with this. Where should I go next? Maybe here. And again, as long as you're working with compatible colors, you can overlap. Just don't want to overlap non-compatible colors. So for example, green and purple, I would not want to overlap. Those are not the most compatible of colors. So that's just to give you an example of what I personally would not choose to overlap. And for those of you guys who may be joining us for the first time, I just want to mention that the video is going to remain right here on our YouTube. It's not going anywhere, so if you don't have time to do it today, but if you like, you want to give it a shot at some point, you can come back and do it anytime. No rush. Whenever you're ready, it's going to be here. Right, so I'm going to add some pink here under the cherry. See, it already starts coming together and it's really nice. I love the process. I love how it really comes together in the end. That is my favorite part. All right, I think I'll leave pink for now. Let's go to our orange. Let's do a little bit of orange. Again, any orange that you have is good. It doesn't have to be a particular orange. Whatever orange you have is great. You can use it. Again, I'm gonna put it on my palette first. This looks good to me, so I'm gonna go with that. And let's choose a couple spots. So let's add some maybe right here. Again, you can overlap it or just add it beside, whatever works. All right, that's some orange there. We'll do some orange right here too. A little bit right here. All right, I think that's good for my orange. What color should I move on to next? I think I should go with purple. I think that would be a good choice. Let's go with purple. I'm gonna take some of my purple. Maybe I'll put it here, close to my pink. They're friends, purple and pink. They're compatible. They're from the same family. So we'll put them together. They can hang out. All right, that's my purple. And I'm gonna move on to adding purple. Where should we go? I think I have quite a bit of purple right here on the bottom. So we can do that, you see? There's quite a bit there. But again, I mean, you guys add it wherever you want to add it. I'll set some right here. Definitely some there. All along the bottom here. It looks pretty good. All right, we'll move to the bottom here too. I'm gonna try not to overlap too much yellow because those are not compatible colors, purple and yellow. But pink is good to overlap, blue is good to overlap. Orange is not compatible color as well, so I'm gonna try not to overlap too much orange. I'm gonna go in this upper area. We'll add some there. All right, I think this looks pretty cool. I like it, like it. Maybe a bit more purple right here on the upper side. All right, I think that's good. And I want to add a bit of purple into my cherry as well. So somewhere around here, I'm just gonna lay some purple around this part of a cherry. So not the very bottom, but generally a bit closer to the bottom. And where the stem comes out. All right, that looks good. Now I want to do a little bit of my teeth as well. So I'm going to take some purple. This is going to be a bit of a different technique. So I'm going to do some purple here. I'm going to add a line, then I'm going to wash off my brush, dab it off on a paper towel, and I'm going to wash it towards the end. So you see it creates almost like a little gradient. And don't worry if you get on the other areas, that's totally fine because we're going to clean it up later with some black. So I want to add next is my darker color. My colder color. I want to add my blue. Let's see, what blue should I use? You can do any blue. I think for this particular one, I'm going to go something like an ultramarine or something darker, and I'm going to add it right into my purple because it's still on my teeth. That's going to be still on my teeth, so I'm going to go somewhere right here. So it should be very close to your purple in color. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to add a little bit, wash my brush, dab it off on a paper towel, and I'm going to blend it. So do you see? It creates that little gradient. Right. Great, great, great. Now I'm gonna go on to more of a vibrant blue. So something like this, or like this will be great. So do you see it's like a medium, but quite a vibrant blue. Let's put it on our palette. Whichever blue you choose. Again, it's totally up to you. I think I'm gonna go with something like that. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful color. Do you see how vibrant it is? I'm gonna add it here. You can definitely overlap some nearby colors with it, but not everything, because you want to keep some of the colors pure, the color that you put originally. I'm going to continue adding it as I go towards the right. Not everywhere, but in some spots. And you see the areas that it overlaps, they almost become darker. So I'm going to show you closer. Do you see the area that it overlaps? It almost creates like a design. It looks like a little bit of an outline there, which I like. I think it's cool look. That overlapped colors look slightly different. All right, I'll add some right here. Where should I go next? Let's go on the bottom. Well, let's go on the cherry actually. Let's add a bit right here. And we'll go on under here on the bottom lip. All right, so I did quite a few there. I'm gonna actually use one more shade of blue. I'm gonna go with a lighter one that looks more like teal, and I'm gonna use a little bit of that too. So if you don't have any lighter color, this is what I'm gonna use. You see this one? It's lighter, it looks more teal-ish. If you don't have anything like that, you could just take a little bit of green and add it to this color, and you'll get just the right color. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that and I'll add it in a couple spots. See, it's a bit lighter and a little bit greener. So I'm gonna go somewhere right here with it, and I'm gonna overlap my yellow. You see, it creates a nice light green when you overlap your yellow. Where else should I go? Maybe somewhere right here a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Where else? Let's see, maybe a touch here. All right, that's looking pretty good, I would say. But again, your combinations could be completely different. And I have almost all my colors. The only one I think that I'm missing besides black is dark red. So I'm gonna do dark red and then I'll take a look at it. And if something is still missing, if it feels like I could have added a bit more of this or of that, I'm gonna go ahead and add those extra colors. All right, so dark red. You see this kind of dark red, super, super dark, vibrant. Whatever you have that's the reddest, for me, it's this one. It's literally dark red, so that's what I'm gonna use. The reddest red you got, that's what you want. And we're gonna start by using that slightly watered down first. So you're not gonna use the full capacity of the color. And we're gonna start laying it around here at a half capacity, I would say. Notice how I'm still keeping some of the white spots, so I'm not covering the whole paper. I still want to leave some white. Maybe not a lot, but still some. So do you see I started with a bit more watered down version of this red? And now I'm going to go full strength. So I'm going to go dark, dark, dark. And I'm going to start with the top. Just going to start plugging it everywhere where I feel like. And again, your color combo can be completely different. So do you remember how we added quite a bit of purple, right? Red is one of those colors that we're gonna add quite a bit of as well. I'm gonna go here. Looks pretty good. So again, I'm adding a fair bit of red everywhere. Let's see. So again, see quite a bit along the bottom, some along the top, not as much, a bit more on the bottom, I would say. And overlap whatever needs to be overlapped, of course. And I'll do the same on the bottom lip. You see, it's almost filled. I really like the color combo. All right, let's do some here. Maybe a touch there. All right, and now I'm gonna go on my cherry. Now I'm gonna add a really saturated red. You don't want to cover up all your, lighter version. You just want to enhance it in certain areas with this darker one, but you still want to have the previous version, this lighter version, visible in some spots. You want to create that complexity of color by using multiple shades of that red. Then we're going to move to black, and I am excited about black. Actually, we'll do one more thing before black. So do you see how there's some of the splatter in some of those lines that some I added in yellow, but I didn't add in any other color. So I'm just going to add a couple of those lines. Do you see if the red comes to the contact with the edge to the edge here? So I'm going to just bring a bit of red down from the edge, a couple of those lines in red. And you can do that with any color, whatever color comes to the edge in any spot, you can just drip it down a bit or bring it up a bit. So right here, it's red again. So we'll just add a couple flicks there. Great. What else do I have? I have some pink. Let's do some pink maybe. So here, there's a little bit of pink. Again, you can choose your own spots. It doesn't have to be where I'm adding mine. A bit of pink right here. And I'll do a little bit of splatter. So again, I'm on a pink right now, so let's do pink first. Around the pink area. Then I'll do some, maybe in blue. There's blue right here, so we'll do some in the blue there. I'll do some in yellow here. All right, and we'll do something maybe in purple there. Another thing I like doing is I like sometimes smudging my splatter, because you see they look very dark. They almost look like black sometimes. So sometimes I like smudging them. Not even smudging, I don't even know what it's called. So lightly dabbing them with a paper towel. So some of the paint get absorbed into paper towel, you see? And then they get much lighter. So the color gets a bit more visible versus when they're super concentrated and they almost look like black and they don't read the right color. This helps you make them actually look the color that they're supposed to look. See, they didn't disappear. They just got a little bit lighter, but by doing that, they got more vibrant. All right, black it is. Gonna go to black now. So if you don't have, not every watercolor has a good black. My watercolor does have a good black, but I would say that's more of an exception than a norm. If your watercolor does not have a good black, you can definitely use acrylic. It's totally fine. All right, and You can start anywhere, but I'm gonna start by filling in this area. So the inside the mouth. You see I'm doing pretty solid black. Going around my teeth, around my cherry. All right, that looks good. Let's continue going here. So now I'm gonna move on to my cherry. I'm gonna add my stem. I am going to add a couple flicks from the bottom of the stem to darken up that area. I'll add a bit of outline here on the bottom only, and a couple spots around this line I'm gonna cover with black as well. So just a few spots here. Looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, whew. My little table fell down. Scared me. All right. Now I'm gonna move on to the lips. Oh, actually, let's go on the teeth a little bit right here. And now I'm gonna move on to the lips, and I'm gonna add flicks from the inside and some flicks from the outside. So I'm gonna start with the top lip. From the inside, so do you see from the bottom part? Just adding flicks from that line in. Some areas can be thicker on black, some areas can be just like a couple little ones. All right, this, do you see? I added lots of flicks there. Now I'm gonna do the outer side. So again, I'm gonna start with a very fine little outline. And then I'll add just a few little lines in. So I'm not going as consistently around the whole lip with the black as I did on the bottom. I'm a bit more selective here. You see, I did just a few, and I'm gonna add a couple little wiggly lines. So similar to how we did, do you remember those colorful vertical lines? So similar to that, I'm just gonna add a really fine one in black. Make it look a little funkier, a little more abstract. You can even add a secondary little outline outside of the lip. You see, but just a little bit. Now I'm gonna go on to my bottom, and I'll do the same thing. First, I'm gonna add quite heavy my black, flicking it from the inside. And then I'll do a little bit on the outside too. So again, just a little bit, not as heavy as on the inside. So we're adding some outline and some little flicks. And then of course we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the top. So you can do a couple of those vertical lines. Anywhere in any area of your choice. And a bit of line. So do you remember how we did secondary line around it? Using just the tip of your brush, you can do a secondary line here too. And ta-da! Your beautiful painting is done. Now you can just look at it and see, is it missing something? And if it is, add it. So for me personally, when I look at it, I think it's missing a little bit of darkness underneath the lip where the teeth begin. So I'm just gonna take a bit more of a purple or purple mixed with blue, something in between there. And I'm gonna add a bit right here. So this is what it's missing for me. Do you see a bit of darkness there? And again, I'll still have to wash it a bit. So do you see I'm adding some color, then I'm washing my brush, dabbing it off on a paper towel, and I'm washing it down. Great. Now this looks better to me. That's what it was missing. And other than that, I don't think it's missing anything. I think it looks fabulous. So here are our two beautiful lips with cherries. Last thing you have to do, you just have to sign it. So find a good spot. You can put your name, initial, signature, anything that you want. I'll put my initials right there. Ta-da! It is finished. So thank you guys for joining me. Please feel free to share your results. There is a watercolor group that we have where we encourage everyone to share their results always. Please do that. The link is in the description of this video. It's on the Facebook group. Please feel free to share your results there. We always love to see how they turned out. And thanks for joining me. Let's do this again sometime soon. Bye guys.